Hi, welcome to live online tutorial series from JCBRO Labs. For more information about JCBRO, you can visit us at www.jcbrolabs.org, or you can also mail us your query at info@jcbrolabs.org. In this tutorial series, today we are going to talk about Matlab, and specifically we are going to talk about loops within the Matlab. Okay. Apart from that, we also provide online training. We also do freelance projects and industrial projects based on data science, Python, embedded system, machine learning, signal processing, etc. So if you have any such requirement, you can let us know by contacting us through our website, which is www.jcbrolabs.org, or you can also mail us at info@jcbrolabs.org. Okay. So as we said, today we are going to talk about loops. So as you are well aware that during this live session we also ask some small and easy questions, and whoever gives the answer first, we give some cash prize to that particular user. Okay, and the procedure for winning cash prizes: you just put your answer, and then as soon as whoever gives the first answer, we will ask for his or her email IDs, and then after that we will share the link with that particular user, and then after getting the information from that user, we will transfer the amount. Okay, so Sally Tyagi has joined us. Okay, welcome Sally Tyagi. Yeah, sure, we will be asking some questions soon. Okay, then let's start with the loops then. Okay, whoever is joining to us, they can along with their name, they can also type and the location from where they are watching this particular video, so it will encourage us to create more such live tutorial videos. So as we said, today our question is, or our session is about loops. So as most of you may be well aware that loops are used if we want to do some, or loops are used to do some repetitive tasks. Okay, so there's a program flow, and within this program flow there are multiple multiple statements are there, and some statements are there which you want to do repeatedly, like this. So instead of writing these again and again, what you do, you write only one statement and continue with the loop. So that statements run that particular specific number of times, and after that it comes out of it. Okay, so it is very helpful in initializing some arrays, or again doing some repetitive tasks. Okay, so Ujjwal has also joined us. Yep. Okay, so there are basically in Matlab there are basically two loops are there. Number first is the for loop. Okay, you can say it as a counter as well, and another one is the while loop. So we will be talking each one of them one by one. So first we will continue with the first we will continue with the for loop, and then we'll continue with the while loop. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so so now continue with the for loop. So the statement of the for loop is simple: for, and then here we have to provide some counter. That means I should write it like this, and then the statements which we want to execute, and at the end of it we will put the and symbol. Okay, So this is the simple example. So let's take, if I write like this, like 4 I equals to 1 to 10, and then if I write display of I and then go to AND, right? So it will print. So this loop will go from 1 to 10 at an interval of 1, and then it will display the value of I, and then it will terminate itself. So each loop has to be terminated with this AND command, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, so now let's do it with the help of a Matlab. Okay, and after that we will be doing uh, we will be coming up to the while loop. Okay, let's change the location to the desktop. Okay, instead let's change the location to the folder where we are storing all the programs. Okay, now let's create a new file. So we'll say, okay, yes, this file is the demo of. So first of all we will write close all and then clear all. So I hope you people understand why we do that. Now demo underscore 4. Okay, now coming to the loop. Okay, let's write simple 4 I equals to 1 to 10, and let's say disp of I and then AND. Right, so let's run this program. Go to editor and let's run it. So it should display this I value in the command window, and here it is, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Okay, so that is good one. Now another one is like now instead of this a equals to 1 to 10, we can also iterate it over through any array. For example, let's say I have some I values. Okay, so I can define those I values here directly. So let's say 5 comma 10 comma -1 comma 30 and so on. So now it will in first iteration I value will be 5, in second iteration I value will be 10 and so on. Okay, so now if I run it, so I value, it is iterating over the values of I. So this can be done in that way as well. Okay, Jitendra Kumar, hello, thanks for joining. Okay, now let's take an example. We want to create an array which will be storing all the values of this I. Okay, okay, let's take different example. So the example could be like there it is. So let's make it bigger. So this will be write a program to store all even numbers between 1 to 100 in an array. Okay, so that should be that seems to be very easy. That means we want to store all the even numbers inside an array. So how can we do that? Okay, so let's say we write like one way is like we just iterate the I over the even numbers only at a difference of, let's say, 2. So in that case yes, 1 to 2 to 100. So in that case it will start from 1, but then if a difference of 2, that will become odd numbers, right? Okay, so we can also do that. Let's say a of I equals to I minus 1. Okay, so now let's run it. So A has been initialized, so it is showing warning because A has not been initialized earlier. So we can initialize A equals to 0 here, right? So by the way, there will be no error if we don't write like this as well. So let's run it and let's look a value of A. So its value is starting from 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, even numbers are there, but there is a problem. Problem is there is a 0 in between. The reason is simple. First I value will be 1, so A of 1 will be 0, then I value will be 3, then it will go to the third location. Okay, and on the third location value of this symbol will be 3 minus 1, that means 2, right? Then the location will change to the 5 because we are taking at a difference of 2. So by doing that, ultimately what we are doing, we are losing the focus on the index iteration. So in order to do that, let's make it temp equals to 0, right? And instead of this I, what can we do? We can write like temp and then temp equals to temp plus 1. Okay, now let's run the same program, and if we run it again, okay, yeah, temp should be started from 1. Okay, and editor start. So now if we look at this array A, just double click on here, you will find, okay, all the numbers, all are even numbers within this. That's pretty good. Okay, so now we can understand, like we can iterate it over to store all the large numbers. So similar kind of work can be done. Let's take some a more example. Okay, so instead of this writing the even numbers, let's say write a program to store all numbers divisible by 7 in the range of 1 to 100. Okay, so now what we want to do, within this range 1 to 100, we want to store all those numbers which are divisible by 7. Okay, so now let's run this iteration from 1 to 100, because 49 is divisible by 7, but if we make a difference by 2, it may not come. Some numbers may not come. Okay? Like even numbers will not come in it, only odd numbers will be there. So now I will iterate it over 1 to 100, and then we can apply if else statement. Okay, so you remember there was some remainder command to do that. Okay, now it's a question time. So prior to moving forward, I am asking a question. So in our last live session, we had talked about like figures and plotting commands were there. So the question is related to that only. So what is the command which is used to get a plot on a new window, right? Remember, if you type plot command 2 times, the plot is updated on the same window. So if we want to plot uh, graph or anything on the new window, then what should be the command for that? Okay, so that is very easy command, and I hope someone will give the answer. Okay, so let's continue. Here I was iterating from 1 to 100. Yes, now we will use if and else statements. So if remainder of I comma 7 equals to 0. Remember, there was a remainder command. So if I type remainder, let's say 4 comma 7, so the remainder will be 4. So it will be counting 7. So if a number is divisible by 7 completely, the remainder will be 0. Yes, Ujjwal Sharma, you are right. Figure is the command, and here's the 20 rupees cash prize for you. Okay, now after that, if the number is divisible by 7, only then we will store in it I, then we will be store the I here, and then we will increment it and then end. Right. So now if you look at the workflow of this entire loop, so for command for loop is running from 1 to 100, then there is a we are checking the condition on each number, uh, on each number, and then we are passing storing that number into A, right? And then that is the uh, we are passing the number, storing the number into temp, and then we are implementing the counter. Okay, hello Dimpy Sharma, good afternoon. Okay, now let's run this particular code. Okay, now you can see all the number divisible by 7 in the range of 0 to 1 to 100 are here. So 7, 14, 21, 28, and so on. So by this simple different logics and different meanings, you can create several different programs for different kind of problems, right? Okay, so that is for loop. Now we will go to our next loop, that is uh, that is that is about the while loop. Okay, so let's write it here. Okay, let's create a new one. So here we are going to talk about while loop. So while loop is simple. As long as the condition is true, it will keep on working. So there is a while command, and then bracket. There is a put some conditions there, and then if those conditions are true, till those conditions are true, it will run, and as soon as conditions are false, it will come out of this end loop, right? So till this condition is true, right, it will keep on executing this statements. So obviously you should remember there must be some command here which is changing this condition, otherwise it will become a infinite loop. So I am telling you again, there must be some condition within this while loop, or there must be some command within this while loop. We must be changing this condition, right? So that at some point of time this condition will become false. Otherwise what will happen, it will become an infinite loop and it will keep on executing itself. Okay, so let's write a code for while loop and try with different examples. Okay, now it's time for the next question. So the next question is little tricky, right? But it is again related to the plot command. So we have this entire figure of the plot command, and we have divided. Okay, now our requirement is we want to plot in this section, okay, on the single figure, right? This is the figure window, and within this figure window we want to plot at this location. So what will be the command to do that? Okay, again, what will be the command to plot in this section? That is very easy. So because it is related to the figure, so I will wait for some seconds, for some minutes, so that you can uh, get the answer in the meantime. Okay, so again this is a very easy question. I hope someone will give answer soon enough. Yes, Dimple Sharma, you are right. The command is 2, 2, 4. Okay. Okay, so 20 INR goes to Dimpy. Now let's move forward with a program. Okay. Now now let's create a new file. Okay, so that we can create a new one. Now this file, and first thing we will do, we will save this file. Okay, now we will write our usual command like close all, clear all. Okay, now we will do the same thing. First of all, we will try to print all the numbers from 0 to 100. So we will simply write while I is less than 100, right? It will display the value of I and then end. So if I write like this, so first of all, because we are checking some condition on some variable, so it will throw an error like I is not defined. So we'll define I equals to 0, right? So 0, this condition is true, it will display 0. Now we are not changing this I, so it will become an infinite loop. So let's test it if it becomes an infinite loop or not. So I'm running it. Yeah, you will see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 there. Okay. So if you sometime you got stuck with this kind of problem, like a loop has become an infinite loop and execution is going on continuously, then simply press Ctrl plus C. So it will terminate the operation. Okay, so somewhere I have to write like I equals to I plus 1. So by doing that, we are changing the value of the I on each iteration, and by doing so at after 100th iteration, the value of I will be will equals to 100 and it will terminate. So let's run it. Okay, so now it has displayed the value of up to 99. Okay, that's good. Now again let's write a program to store all the numbers which are divisible by 11. So let's take, in this case we are okay, let's do a little bit change. Now we want to store all the numbers which are divisible by 11 in a variable or in an array A, and if number is not divisible by 11, that will be stored in a variable B. Okay, so now here we are having two variables. If the number is divisible by 11, that will be stored into array A or a variable A. If a number is not divisible by 11, that will store in variable B. Okay, so now again we have to use this if statement. So if I, so again ram I comma 11, so if it is divisible by 11, the remainder will be 0. So it should store into A of I. So we cannot use I, otherwise we got a problem. So let's say temp equals to 1, right? So A of temp, and it will be equals to I, and we have to increase the value of temp equals to temp plus 1. Okay, now in other case, if the number is not divisible by 11, then if a number is divisible by 11 and if this condition is false, that indicates that number is not divisible by 11. So we'll simply write like else command, and then because we want to store into some other variable, So b and the index number. Okay, so the index number has to be changed because this temp is the index number for the variable a. So we will type temp1 equals to I, and then temp1 equals to temp1 plus 1, right? And then we'll put ant sign there. Okay, now we have defined temp, and we need to define another variable as temp1 equals to 1. Okay, so now let's run this program. It seems fine. Let's run. Okay, it is done. Oh, it is continuous string busy sign. It is not done. It has become infinite because I have not changed the value of I. Sorry. So now after that we are incrementing the value of I equals to I plus 1. Okay, let's save it. So go to editor and run it. Okay, it has run. So if we go to look at the variable a, it is showing all the numbers divisible by 11. And if we look at variable b, all the numbers which are not divisible by 11 are here. Okay, so these were the very simple programs to write. So you can modify your programs accordingly or as per your need. So yeah, this is very easy. Okay, now there are jump to our next topic that is generally used many times in Matlab and several other programming languages as well. Okay, so let's create file new, save. Okay, so that are these two statements, break statement and continue statement. Okay, and these are used very much within the Matlab and other programming languages as well. Okay, this is our last question. So prior to moving forward, our last question is here. So again, this is very easy. We have this graph here. Okay, we want to plot more than one graph on the same window. So let's say here is one graph, and we want to plot another graph on the same one. So what will be the command to do that? Okay, so what will be the command? Again, what will be the command to plot multiple plots on the same figure? Okay, so in the meantime, let's continue with this break statement. So let's say if you have for loop, okay, it is there, and you have written some commands, but you want to come out of the for loop if a specific condition is met. Okay, as soon as this condition is met, you don't want to continue the loop, instead you want to come out of the loop. So in that case, this break statement is used. So when that condition is true, we will use this break statement. Okay, Sally Tyagi. Yes, you are right, Sally. Okay, everyone gives the correct answer, but Sally was the first one. Okay, so Sally is the winner this time. And she will go 20 INR again. Now this is the break statement, and then what about the continue statement? So within this continue statement, if there is a let's say we are having this for loop, and within this for loop there are multiple commands and so let's say if certain condition is met and we don't want to execute multiple commands after that, right? We don't want to continue after this condition is true, right? But we want to continue the loop, right? So there is a difference. In break command we don't want it to continue the loop, but in the continue command we want to continue the loop even after this condition is met. The only difference is we don't want to execute the further statements, right? So in that case we will use this continue statement. So these are the basic two difference between this break statements and this continue statements. So let's take these two with the help of an example. So for that we'll jump to again to our we jump to our Matlab questions. Yeah. Ujjwal, she can only answer if she knows them. That means she is learning at her end. So it is not like she is just coming for the questions only. You can also try. You can also learn at your end. Then you can perform better. Okay. So let's continue with the demo with the for loop statements. So here, let's say uh, if I is equals to 50, that is one condition only. We will break it, right? So bigger loop is running up to the 100, but as soon as I is equals to 100, right, we will not continue after 50. So let's run it and let's display a command so that you can have a look. Breaking the loop. Okay, so let's CLC. So break command is like simply a one statement, and as soon as I will become 50, it will come out of the loop. Okay, so breaking of the loop, I is equals to 50, and if we look at it, a will got only values up to 49. So this is what continue statements do. Let's say if I type continue, then we will say continuing the loop. So in that case, I value will not be will never be 50, right? And if I value will never 50, that will not be counted. But here the I value will be there. So let's put this particular statement prior to it. Okay, let's make it 49 so that we can have a difference. Okay, so here, so as soon as I value will become 49, this statements will not run and loop will continue, right? So the 49 will not be stored in A. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so now if you look at it, 49 is missing from the stored value, because that particular value, at that particular value we continued the loop and the remaining statement didn't run and loop continued to the next iteration. So this is how we can use loops for solving different kind of operation in which we have to do some kind of iteration or some kind of repetitive work, and then we can use this break statement and the continue statements as well in between. So I hope you learned it today, and you learned a lot of things today, and then you will be using this this information in your projects as well. Okay, so I will wait for some minutes. If any one of you have any doubt, then you can let me know, and then I will try to answer those queries, right? So in the meantime, I will suggest the winners to send their email IDs to our official mail ID so that we can share the link to you, and then we can process the prize distribution process. Okay, so if anyone has doubt, they can ask. Okay, no one has doubt, so let's end this. So finally, last statements, we also provide online training, help in technical assignments. We also do freelance projects based on data science, Python, machine learning, etc. So if any one of you have any query, you can let us know by contacting us through our website, which is www.jcbrolabs.org, or you can also mail us at info@jcbrolabs.org.